Hey everybody, I just wanted to remake my review of The Island of Dr. Moreau from 1996. I first saw this movie maybe about a month ago, and I've been very fascinated by the story behind it. This movie is one of the biggest disasters in the making. Like, the making of this movie was such a disaster because everything that could go wrong went wrong. There was huge fights in between the major stars like Val Kilmer and Marlon Brando. They were really not getting along, and just this movie had so many issues. It went way longer than they expected, cost way more than they hoped for. Um, it was just a mess. They fired the director midway through the movie. The original director was fired, and there's a whole backstory behind that where he later returned to he was told that he cannot return to the set or he will not get the money. They just bought him out. They said, we'll pay you the money, but we need another director because this isn't working. And he was pissed because this was like his project that he really wanted to do his whole life. And so they told him, listen, we'll give you your money, but if you go back on set, because there've been so many issues with this whole crew and everybody, that they said, we'll give you your money, but if you go back on set, you're not going to get, like, you're signing a contract here that if you go back and bother the finishing of this film with another director, we're not going to give you your money. So there's a really weird story, and there's actually a full documentary about this movie that I watched, but you can buy on YouTube, and it's really actually pretty interesting. What happened was is the extras that were all playing all these characters in the animal suits, they found him one night just by chance. He was out in the woods and he was smoking weed, a distance away from where the film was being made. And they said, we got to get you back in the set, and we'll put you in a costume so that they don't know it's you. So the strangest thing happened. This guy's now back on his movie set wearing an animal costume so that the people don't know it's him. And it's such a weird, everything about this movie. It's really bad, but it's really good at the same time. It's really rewatchable, strangely enough. Um, like, there's so many parts where you're just almost like smiling because it's so cringy and so bad, but then when you rewatch it all, it's like it's almost enjoyable to watch. It's very interesting in a way, and that's why I'm not going to say, like, it reminds me of like The Room. Like, if you're a fan of The Room, of like bad movies, this is one of those bad movies that is really rewatchable and really interesting. And the reason why I find it so interesting is because the backstory of what went on in this movie is so unbelievable. It's like, you'll have to see some of these documentaries. Even on YouTube, you can find some free ones that'll tell you. There's a lot of people that did videos about the making of this and how it went so horribly wrong. But this main character, he's so. I think they picked such a horrible character to play the lead in this movie. I don't know. He's like an English actor. I'll do a pause here to show you, but his just everything about him is so annoying and bad. He's a horrible, this guy here, yeah. He as a main character, he's just awful. Just the way he talks is Edward Douglas. It's just so bad, but it's really, I would say you got to check this movie out, but check out what happened on the scene. This guy right here, he's just a horrible lead. He was supposed to be played by I think James Woods was originally supposed to. Oh no, sorry. Oh geez, what's his name from? I'm drawing blanks right now, but he's a huge actor from Die Hard. Anyways, I'm drawing blanks just because I'm making the video and I can't think right now. Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis was supposed to play this guy, and instead they got this English guy, and he's so horribly. He's a decent actor, but he's just so cringe, and he has these parts in this movie where he's like moving his lips. He's doing this sound with his mouth. He's like, "My name is Edward Douglas." It's so cringe and annoying to watch this guy. He's such a horrible lead. But the movie is very interesting to watch, and I've watched it a few times in the month just because I'm like fascinated by the story and what went on and how it's so weird and crazy. And definitely check this movie out. It's a really bad movie and a really good movie all at the same time. It's hard to explain, and I think it's better than what people give it. I think people like to laugh at it and mock it, which they should, but At the same time, it's visually very cool because it was during that era where it kind of reminds me of like a water world where CGI hadn't really taken off yet, so they had to make all this stuff. Like all these characters in the cat suits and the animal suits, they all had to be um all of this, and that's another thing that happened in this movie is all these extras that were in these cat suits and these animal suits, they all had to remain in this hotel because they had already fitted all of these costumes for specific people, so they couldn't really bring in new people and do it at a different time. They had to get this done, and they knew it was going to be a huge mess. So they have these extras that would like put this makeup on for hours and these suits on every day, and they wouldn't even get into any shots that day. And this went on for months and months. So they're like at a hotel. They've got these people all at a hotel, all these extras, and they're smoking weed and having orgies, and it's a crazy story. And they built the site of where they were shooting the movie an hour away from the hotel. And the guy said that once you drive 5 minutes from the hotel, it's entirely jungle. And then they would, for some reason, the guy decided that the perfect spot was an hour away from the hotel. So every day, everybody had to drive an hour into the jungle, even though 5 minutes into the jungle looked exactly the same as an hour into the jungle. So it was just mishap after mishap. And then the guy said, oh, well, we want this mountain to be in the shot, so that's why they need to be an hour away. But the thing is, during that time of year, the mountain was like covered in fog or something, so it didn't even, this whole reason to bring everybody out for I mean, when you're talking an hour on a film set, you're talking like that's millions and millions of dollars every day to get these people there, or not every day, but like total. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars to add extra time to movies like this. So they did it all to have this mountain in the shot, and the guy said that for like 6 minutes of the entire time they were there, the mountain was even visible just for 6 minutes because of this fog and the way that it just something made it that it wasn't even visible. So the whole point of moving it the site an hour away didn't even work out why they did it. It was just a big waste, and that's kind of like the whole movie is just like that. It's a weird. And this female character, she's been in The Craft, and my gosh, she has some really weird parts in this movie where she's just like, her face and her eyes are just so, like, I can't even imagine how much, she must have a headache after every shoot, and her eyes must hurt the way that her face just moves and stuff. So like, she's just very emotional in the movie. It's crazy. And Brando is actually really good, but apparently he was taking his he was like a really hard to work with actor, and Val Kilmer was as well. So they were kind of they were really at each other's throats the whole movie. So they were causing huge problems, and that was a major problem why they couldn't get the movie finished quickly. And check this movie out. I wanted to redo this review. I felt I didn't do it right the first time, so I wanted to make a more quality review. But this movie is so strange. The story is so strange. Check the story out. It reminds me a lot of The Room. Check out The Room with the story of how Tommy Wiseau made this really bad movie, and then they made The Disaster Artist later. It's almost like the story is more interesting than the movie, but at the same time, when you know the story of what went into it and you see the movie, it almost makes it more interesting than the movie would be if you didn't know that. So check it out. It's really bad and really good all at the same time. That's all I can say. Anyways, thanks for checking out this review, everybody. I hope I got some extra points that maybe some people missed, and stay tuned. I'm going to be putting up a lot more movie reviews on this channel. I'm going to try to I'm just about to make my Dune 2 review, which I just saw tonight. Stay tuned for that, and please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe. I'm trying to get a following. The more people that follow, the more people that like, I'm going to start making more reviews, and they're going to start to get better quality and stuff like that. So thank you very much, and please like, please subscribe. Thank you. Bye.